All right, so ready to climb into a deep dive today? We're going to be exploring Bear J. Sleeman, specifically his Bear Mountain Brotherhood. Ever get those books, the ones that just grab you and don't let go? That's Bear Mountain, the Alpine Crucible, for me, his first novel.
And this is a fascinating deep dive
Yeah.
because Sleeman's created this whole persona. It comes through in his writing. Like online, he's cultivated this image, this rugged individualist, this warrior poet, you know, super skeptical of technology.
Oh, totally. He's not hiding. He's all over his blog, talking about escaping, keeping things simple, embracing, a primal way of life. But he doesn't just talk, and this is key. He writes these incredible stories.
And that's where it gets really interesting. Sleeman's not preaching to some niche audience.
Yeah.
He's got a huge following, readers who are just captivated by this blend, this action, sci-fi, even horror that he weaves in.
It's like he took those genres, threw them in a blender, right? Splashed in some ancient mythology, a dash of philosophy, hit puree, and boom, out pops Bear Mountain. So, to unpack it all, we've got his blog posts, early reader reviews, which are crazy positive, and that official Amazon book description. Our mission. Unpack why this fictional world, why it's hitting so hard with readers, especially those tired of the same old, same old.
And to get that, we got to start with the man himself. Sleeman's blog, it's our way in. His philosophies, these recurring themes, all there.
Okay, unpack it for us. One thing that jumps out, this Bear Mountain Brotherhood. Who are these guys? Just a bunch of dudes hanging out in the woods?
No, not quite. He describes them as ex-special forces, this tight-knit group. We've got Jack, Megumi, Paul, and of course Steve, who goes by Jugs. But they're more than their past. They embody this loyalty, this incredible skill set, this take-no-prisoners attitude.
Classic heroes, but with a twist. And every hero needs a villain. Or in this case, villains. What's the threat?
It's a double whammy. You've got Klaus, enigmatic figure, leads something called the World Leviathan Forum. Ominous. And then there's Leviathan itself, the sentient AI.
Hold up. Sentient AI, that's hitting a little too close to home for a lot of people these days.
Exactly. I think that's a huge part of what makes Sleeman's work so compelling. He's tapping into those real anxieties. Is tech the future, or is it going to be our downfall?
Right, he's not shying away from it, that's for sure. But Bear Mountain itself, it's more than just a setting for all this, right?
It's practically a character. Sleeman describes this wilderness, this rugged, isolated place, the last bit of natural beauty left, pushing back against the digital world.
You can feel that romanticism in his blog posts, can't you? That desire for simplicity, that rawness we've lost. You know what? I pull a quote. I think it sums up his view perfectly. He writes, "The digital world is a siren song, luring us toward a sterile, meaningless existence."
There you go. That's our uncompromising writer right there. And people are drawn to that. He makes us question everything. And that quote really gets at the heart of it, doesn't it? This whole digital siren song idea pops up all over his blog, this underlying fear, like a warning.
Yeah, it's more than fear, though, right? Like he's mourning something, that we've lost something essential, chasing all this progress, this contrast he draws, the natural world, Bear Mountain against all that's artificial.
And the Brotherhood, they're the antidote. He's pretty clear about that. This softening of modern men, they're the counterpoint.
Doesn't just talk about it either, he gets practical.
Oh, yeah. One post, he describes their training. Brutal. Ancient martial arts, wilderness survival, bear wrestling. Seriously.
Bear wrestling. All right, now we're talking. The bear in Bear Mountain is making a lot more sense. But there's more to it, right? It's mental too, isn't it? This toughness he's going for.
Oh, absolutely. Discipline, resilience, he even calls it rewilding the mind. Basically, cut through the noise, reconnect with those instincts we've buried. He's convinced that nature, pushing yourself physically and mentally, that's how you find that deeper strength.
And it's resonating, People are picking up what he's putting down. That vision, self-reliance, the natural world, especially now when things feel so chaotic.
Right. But it's not some easy out. He's not painting a utopia. Sleeman shows the harsh side, too. Remember that blog post, The Blizzard?
Yeah.
Traps the Brotherhood up there in their stronghold?
Oh, yeah, that was intense.
He writes, "The wind howled like a banshee, a symphony of icy death. We huddled together for warmth, our breath frosting in the air, knowing that survival was a privilege, not a right." Gets you right there, you know?
No kidding.
Yeah.
Beautiful but brutal. That's nature for you.
Exactly. Doesn't shy away from it. The darkness, the challenge. He's preparing us, in a way,
The
for
win.
what his characters go through.
So we've talked philosophy, worldview, but let's get to the novel itself. Bear Mountain, the Alpine Crucible. We know the Brotherhood's got their work cut out for them with Klaus Claw, the AI. But what's the fight for? What's at the heart of it all?
It all comes down to these things called the shards of Yori. Mysterious. He's vague in the blog post, hints at their power, how important they are to everyone.
Classic MacGuffin, right? The thing everyone wants. But what makes these shards so special? Why are they worth, well, everything?
Things get interesting here. The Amazon description, Sleeman calls them fragments of some ancient artifact, pre-human history. He writes, they have the power to reshape reality itself. Ups the stakes a bit, don't you think?
Whoa. Reshape reality. Okay, now I get it. But there's got to be more to it than just raw power, right? They seem important somehow.
You're picking up what Sleeman's laying down. He calls them echoes of a forgotten age, like they hold this ancient knowledge lost to time.
So it's not just about controlling the shards, it's about understanding them, unlocking your secrets. But why are both the Brotherhood and Klaus Claw so obsessed? What are they each hoping for?
The million-dollar question. And Sleeman's not giving any easy answers, at least not early on. We know Claw. He sees them as a means to an end, thinks he can harness them, bring about this new world order technology, intellect running the show.
Fits with the whole World Leviathan Forum deal. Digital utopia, but on his terms.
Exactly. The Brotherhood, though,
Mm-hmm.
they're different. Protection, not exploitation. And this is where Megumi really comes into play. She's not just a hacker or a tech whiz. She's got this connection to the shards, almost intuitive.
Ah, so she's the key to it all. I like it.
She is, but
Yeah.
it comes at a price. She starts having these visions, glimpses into the past, fascinating but terrifying.
Okay, so we're in Chosen One territory now. The weight of the world, all that.
It's there for sure. That inner conflict, is she ready? Can she handle it? It adds a whole other layer to the story.
All right, so we've got this epic showdown brewing. Brotherhood versus Klaus Claw. Shards of Yori up for grabs. But what about Bear Mountain itself? We've talked about it as this symbol, but how does it play into the actual conflict?
Great question. And this is Sleeman's world building at its finest. Bear Mountain isn't just some passive setting, it's almost a character itself. Actively involved, you could say.
Okay, you've got to elaborate on that one.
So as the story unfolds, we start to realize Bear Mountain is more than just a mountain. It's this nexus point, a place where the line between our world, our reality, and something older, something else, is very, very thin.
Hold on, like a doorway to another dimension?
You got it. And through this doorway, things start to slip through. Things that were once myths, legends. They're real.
Creatures? What kind of creatures are we talking here?
Sleeman's coy about the details, but he mentions winged serpents that darken the skies, creatures of shadow and flame that stalk the night. Enough to give you chills, you know.
Oh, no kidding. He's tapping into something primal there, isn't he? Those ancient fears stick with you.
Exactly. And that's what makes this so effective. He blends real-world anxieties, technology, the future, with those primal fears, the things we don't understand, can't control.
It's like he's created a world where our modern anxieties collide head-on with those ancient fears, you know, and Bear Mountain, right in the middle, this battleground for humanity itself almost.
Perfectly put. And in the middle of it all, the characters, they're not just fighting enemies, but those inner demons too.
See, this is what gets me excited. The world, the mythology, these characters, and this conflict that's both huge, epic, but also deeply personal. Can't wait to dig in.
Oh, and the action. From the reviews, Sleeman doesn't disappoint.
Yeah.
Visceral, cinematic, edge-of-your-seat stuff.
Oh, I bet. Even his blog has that energy. You can tell this isn't just writing, it's storytelling. He knows how to hook you.
It's true. And those action scenes, they're not just there to be cool, they have a point. Character development, moving the plot forward.
Yeah.
They pull you deeper into this world.
Sold. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, take a step back for a second. Why this blend? The action, sci-fi, that touch of horror. Why is it hitting so hard right now?
That's a great question. And I think it reflects where we're at as a culture. Technology is exploding, but there's this uncertainty too, this anxiety.
Like we're on the edge of something big.
Yeah.
And maybe a little scary.
Exactly. And I think Sleeman's tapping into that, giving it a voice, but also giving us a way to deal with it through fiction, you know.
It's like he's holding up this mirror, reflecting our anxieties and desires, but it's entertaining too. Makes you think.
Exactly. And that's a rare gift in a storyteller.
You know, it's funny. I came into this deep dive figuring, what the heck? Action-packed thriller? Sign me up. But Sleeman, he makes you think too, you know? It sneaks up on you.
He does. He really does. All this high-octane stuff, but underneath, it's about humanity, technology, profound almost.
And the setting, man. We got to talk more about Bear Mountain itself. It's like another character, honestly. Wild, untamed, shapes these characters.
Embodies his whole worldview, I'd say. You've got that serene wilderness, but then, bam, Lovecraftian horrors crawling out of those rifts.
Like he's saying, hey, nature's got teeth too. We forget that, chasing all the shiny tech.
And watch how they react to these creatures, it's telling. The Brotherhood, they get it. Nature's power, the respect it deserves.
Whereas Claw's Claw, all about control, right? Sees them as tools, more power he can grab.
Exactly. Good versus evil, sure, but bigger than that, you know? It's two ways of seeing the world clashing.
And at the core, I think, is this. What's it mean to be human? All this tech, changing everything. Do we embrace the unknown, even the scary stuff? Or try to control it, even if we lose ourselves along the way?
Big questions, man. And
Yeah.
Sleeman's wrestling with them right there on the page. Readers feel that, we're all grappling with this stuff, tech changing who we are every day.
He's not giving us the cheat sheet either. Doesn't say tech bad, end of story. But he's not afraid to show the downsides. It's nuanced, makes you think for yourself.
The trade-offs, right? What are we giving up? Connection to nature, that sense of awe, our humanity even. Heavy stuff.
Heavy stuff, especially for a book with bear wrestling and interdimensional monsters. But that's Sleeman for you. He can do it all. Entertaining, smart, doesn't shy away from the big questions.
And he's not afraid to make us uncomfortable. Challenge those assumptions we all have. In a world that's obsessed with playing it safe, that's refreshing.
No doubt. So for our listeners, ready to tackle Bear Mountain themselves, any parting words?
Go in open-minded. Be ready for anything.
Sure.
Sleeman's going to challenge you, surprise you. But most of all, he's going to make you ask yourself, what do I believe about this world and my place in it?
Couldn't have said it better myself. Bear Mountain, the Alpine Crucible, it's not just a story, it's a journey. And it might just change how you see the world. Until next time, keep those pages turning and those minds open.